enrichment, but God uses me as a channel, right? And it's a good community. You know, I've been here for about, let's see, 4 years or so, and it's been good. It's been a good experience, and I hope you find the same way. My name is Yoon, and you can call me Joanne or Professor Yoon. You know, different people call me different things, and I respond to all of them. Now, I was born here. I grew up to introduce myself a little bit, and I wish this were an in-person class. I would love to get to know you, and sooner or later we're going to turn in person, and we're going to be able to see each other. I can't wait until that moment comes. But just to introduce myself, I was born here. I was raised in Korea. I went to an American school starting from 11th grade, and so just like many of you, you know, English, I picked up English as a second language, and so I understand the difficulty, I understand the challenges, and just the personality. Like if you are so outgoing and if you don't mind making mistakes, then you tend to pick up language pretty quickly, right? Just like little kids, little babies, you know, they learn to crawl and stand and just walk, and they don't mind stumbling, right? They don't mind falling down. They don't mind, bumping into something. They don't care, right? And that's how they learn. And they learn language. They don't mind if they make any terrible mistakes, right? And nobody tells anything too. But even if people say things, I mean, they wouldn't really care because, you know, it's like, it's not like one day they wake up and say, I've got to pick up English, you know, I've got to memorize 50 words today, you know, and I've got to express that in a way that my parents can understand and the world can understand. You know, they don't have that mindset. There's no have-tos. They're like, oh, it's fun. When I say something, oh, they respond to me better. They respond to me in the way that I intended my message to accomplish. Oh, so I'm gonna keep saying it. You know, that's how they pick up. So if we just feel very free, I think we're gonna do a better job learning. However, as adults, you know, I've taught adult learning in a different program, and we're kind of different than children. We mind making mistakes, and I make mistakes as well. And you know, depending on your personality, you can cringe, or you can just casually just walk off, you know, laughing at yourself. I'm kind of a former, so that's why I learn things a little slower than other people, right? Not in all aspects, but you know, in some aspects, I had to carefully like listen first. You know, like the first semester in American high school, that was pretty tough. You know, I barely understood a few words. History, world history. Let's see, U.S. history was actually better because I understood the system a little bit better than, yeah. But world history was a major challenge. You know, biology was a challenge. You know, a lot of memorization and you know all these terms that I didn't understand, that I learned for the first time, and yeah. So there were some challenging classes, and I was just sitting there quietly. There were times when I didn't speak a word, and then you know maybe during recess or during the lunchtime, you know I would say a few words, and then there were some bilingual kids. You know, fortunately my friends who were biracial, and they would come and approach me. I didn't know that all of them were actually Christians, and I was not a Christian back then. God has a plan, right? Yeah, so his way of working, and they surrounded me. They often, we were in completely different classes. You know, I started as an 11th grader, but all my other friends were in like AP classes. You know, I was in ESL. They were in, Shakespeare. You know, Iliad, Odyssey. So I did not take classes with them perhaps math. Well, even at the beginning, like I wasn't joining their math classes. So, but they would just occasionally check on me, you know, hey, what's going on? You know, how are you doing? And sometimes, you know, my biracial friends would come and they would speak broken Korean in broken Korean. And there was a biracial classmate who I think he got into major trouble as a high schooler, but he came to me. I remember home economics class. It was relatively easy compared to other classes because, you know, it's part of it is actually hands-on, like you cook, clean, you know, learn stuff, right? That was helpful. But then, you know, learning about the nutrition, you know, different things, like it was the theoretical aspect of it was kind of a challenge. And he sat by me and he pointed to like which question the teacher was referring to, and you know, he spoke in broken Korean. So after a few weeks, I got adjusted a little bit, and then he was still pointing to, like, he's assuming because it's been only a few weeks, he was trying to really help me, but then I was getting it a little quicker, much quicker. So then, like, he didn't have to help me a few weeks later, but he always came around. He was always available, but he was a trouble kid. I don't know his background, and later on I heard in my college years, after graduating and some, you know, went our own ways, I heard that he committed suicide. I don't know what happened. Yeah, he was into drugs. I remember the questions that he used to ask me, like, so I had vaccination, series of vaccination in order to transfer to American school, and he was pointing to my, you know, middle points, and he said, like, what is this? And he had this like look on his face, and I had no idea what he was talking about. But later on, years later, after I got used to that environment, not the best environment, but the teachers were awesome, but the kids, yeah, there were some major issues, and they were doing like drugs and alcohol and, you know, cigarettes and all that. Yeah, they're minors, so they're not supposed to be doing that, right? Illegal. But so this kid was obviously, you know, that had that experience, and he asked me those questions, and so it seems like he came from a rough background. But I don't know, I did have some of the good friends. Like he was not a Christian, but he tried to help me. I think it was God's favor all around. Even one of my teachers, my awesome teacher, wow, she was from she came from a different religion. I really don't recommend that to anybody, but somehow she had a very good heart. She came around. There were so many friends who came around, and they would check on me like, 어때? You know, like broken Korean, like 어때? You know, like brief Korean, referring to, like, you know, that is equal to how are you? You know, how you doing? Yeah. 뭐 필요하면 말해. You know, like tell me if you need anything. These are wonderful friends. So what I'm talking about is I empathize with some of you. Like some of you may speak English very well, but perhaps part of the reason you're taking English Composition 1 is because you have a need. You have a need to learn. So I am with you. I feel for you. And if it becomes too challenging, let me know. You can let the office know, and they'll let me know. But you don't have to be pressured. I want you to kind of enjoy. As much as there are things to do, right? But you don't have too much burden right now. Probably you'll need to submit weekly reports, you know, faithfully attend the class and try your best. And what I'm expecting you to do, we're gonna go over the syllabus briefly, but this is for you. Like, I don't want to see you perform. Like, I don't want to like grade your papers and, you know, like, okay, you get 100 and you get 75. Like, I don't want to do that. I want you to learn the best. And let this be a little foundation, like one little piece in the foundation that you need to lay in order for you to build your future, build your academic career and your job career. And so I want you to relax, try to enjoy, try to practice, but try to have a kid-like mind, like a childlike mind, so that you won't do things out of like pressure. Like, I think I, as an Asian, kind of can empathize with other overachieving Asians. I'm not so much overachieving anymore, but I used to. And so, like, you want to do things well, and you want to be perfect, although you're not, right? I'm far away from being perfect, and I wanted to be perfect, like in the past. And so then that puts so much, pressure on myself, right? And I won't do well because of that pressure. So let that go. It's okay for you to make mistakes. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to grade you based on your mistakes. You're going to get graded based on your effort. And you're not going to fail unless you don't make it to the class, unless you just don't have a heart for it. Like, I see there's no motivation whatsoever. Then I can't help you. But as long as you're motivated and you attend the class faithfully and you try your best, you're gonna pass. Don't worry about it. And try to utilize it as much as possible if you can, right? That's the whole purpose of it. And so to introduce myself, continue to introduce myself. So I grew up kind of bicultural, bilingual. People will say that I'm a 1.5er, but so I'm an interesting hybrid. I'm Korean in some aspects, I am American in other aspects, and I'm a little bit confused. But it's good to be a bridge between the two cultures. It's wonderful to. It was not always wonderful. It was difficult to be squeezed in between, but it's wonderful to serve as a bridge of some sort, as an interpreter, as an instructor, as a pastor, it's rewarding. I've sat in doctoral classes as an interpreter for the students and for the professor. It was a wonderful experience, very rewarding. I think that's how I'm carved out to be a bridge. And so when I was little, I had a few dreams, dreams to fulfill. One, I wanted a wonderful family. Two, I wanted to travel overseas. So I started collecting pictures, pictures from different countries, like Greece, in a magazine, like you flip through and then there are pictures, right? Oh, this is part of Greece. This is England. Oh, this is Africa. I wanted to travel, so I just collected all the pictures and kept it on my a journal, and so long story short, after I met Christ, after I met God, He started to fulfill my dreams for me. He started to grant my wishes. The year when I encountered God really intimately, that year, and the next year, He let me travel to 7 different countries, all for His cause. I wasn't casually traveling, but my dream came true, and it's been an adventure with God and His and exciting God. He's not always it's not always easy to be with him. It's not always easy to follow him, but he's adventuresome. He's never boring, and he is always motivated by good intentions. He has good intentions. He has good plans, and there's nothing bad in him. There's nothing cunning or evil in him. He's a promise keeper, and he is with us at all times. Like, people may abandon us or leave us, right, for various reasons. God doesn't. He promises that I will be with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. And so that's part of me. There are more stuff to talk about, but I want to hear your story, which I can't in this class, but in the future. But you're going to get to know me a little more as time passes. So shall we start with a word of prayer? Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for your grace and mercy. Your love abounds. Your grace abounds. Your wisdom is unfathomable. And your will for us is always good. We thank you for being a good God, the sovereign God of the universe. And we bank on you, we rely on you, we trust in you, and we decide to follow you. Father God, may you minister to each soul in this class as we embark on this journey. May you be the guide. May you provide the right and staff for us. And Father, we expect good things to come out of this class for all of us. Lord, make it fruitful and enjoyable. And give all the students and me your wisdom, so I know how to teach them well, so that they will know how to observe and utilize well. God, you bless this class. We thank you in Christ's name we pray. Amen. So I want to start by Psalm 23. Psalm 23, and we have NASB Bible here, but I usually utilize NIV. And Psalm is like about in the middle of the Old Testament. If you just turn it over, yeah, Psalm is like in the middle. Now, Psalm 23 is pretty well known to the living community. If you're relatively new to faith, it's okay if you don't have a biblical background. Like, I assume that my students don't have biblical background because some of you don't, right? There was one class that I taught, many of them were so new to faith. So I don't expect you to have like biblical theological background. So I'm going to start from that perspective. And if you don't understand and if you have questions, you can ask me anytime. You're not going to get tested by this for this. Don't worry about it. This is for your spiritual nourishment, and this is for your enjoyment. Yeah. So, some of my old students actually ask me, you talk about meditating on the Word of God a lot, and how are you supposed to meditate? Like, I know how to read, but what am I supposed to do? I don't know. I don't even know how to pray. Like, how am I supposed to meditate? So maybe I can show you a really shortened version, abridged version of one of the ways to meditate on the Word of God. So how about do this? Okay. One of the many ways. Yeah, God is creative. He speaks to us in many different channels, countless channels. This is just one of the one tiny piece of the whole picture per se. So just close your eyes. Let's take a deep breath. Okay. So when we inhale and exhale, we're gonna count to 5 slowly. Okay. So inhale. 1. Keep inhaling. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now slowly exhale, counting 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, not with your shoulders, but with your belly. Inhale. You consider yourself as a balloon. You're a balloon right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you inhale, actually, you can imagine God being with you. Our God is very intimate. He's loving. His love and His peace. And there's so much positivity to Him. He's an enthusiastic, joyful, and positive God. And so we're inhaling His presence with all His characters. We're inhaling. And we're exhaling the darkness in us. Worries, fears, despair, blames, shame, complaints, anger, sadness, whatever that might be. We're inhaling His light and we're exhaling our darkness. So let's imagine that, and then try again. Here we go. This time I'm going to count to 6. So once again, take your shoulders down, put your shoulders down, and then you are a balloon, and you're gonna, don't do it too rigidly, just become comfortable, just relax, and then try to inhale and exhale as much as possible. Like throughout the day, I realize like how much I'm not breathing. So, okay, close your eyes, and we're gonna start this. Count to 6, inhale. His light, His joy, His love, His compassion, His forgiveness, His peace. Oh, His shalom peace. 6, okay, exhale our darkness, sadness, shame, failure, worries, fears, whatever is weighing down on us, like anger, burdens, despair, and hopelessness. And we inhale His love and hope and joy and peace, His gentleness, His compassion, His grace and mercy, His life, His light. Exhale our darkness, dark thoughts, negativity, hatred, lack of confidence, illness, all the burdens, difficulties, complaints, and blame, and shame, and all that. We let them go. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. While we're keeping to inhale and exhaling, I'm going to just ask you a few questions. So keep doing it. Inhale. What are you feeling right now? What are you feeling? What kind of emotions is that? Joy, sadness, anger, peace, tired, energetic, hopeful, pessimistic, any concerns, any expectations, hopefulness. Okay, exhale. What did you bring to God today? How do you want it to minister to you? Like, what are you bringing to Him? Inhale. Exhale. In order to focus on God's presence, what do you need to let go right now? Inhale. Where did you feel God's presence in the past month? Exhale. The Lord is here. Do you feel His presence? So we come with that open heart to receive from you, Lord. And may you minister to each soul in the ways that they can understand. We thank you. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. So I'm going to read the passage 4 times for you. The first time, you just listen and let the word wash over you. The second time I read, I'm going to repeat this instruction so you don't have to memorize. Number 2, I'm just letting you know to give you a heads up. The second time I read, you try to pay attention to anything that stands out to you. You know, while you're listening, something stands out to you. It could be a word, a sentence, image, certain feelings. Like, do you know that our spirits also have the 5 senses, not just physically. We have spiritual eye, spiritual ear, spiritual nose, spiritual palate, and spiritual touch. You know, so texture, right? So utilize those spiritual 5 senses, and you know, I understand that if you're new to this, you might not. It might not go too well, like for you the first time. But I'm going to repeat this experience for you, so that I'm going to repeatedly give you opportunities throughout the course, so that you kind of taste what it is like. But don't worry about it if it doesn't happen. You know, it's okay. So utilize your 5 senses of your spirit to spot what stands out, right? So visual, what you see something in your spirit. You know, it could be a vision, right? It could be like a sound. It could be like touch. You know, like there are times when I feel that God is hugging me. There are times when I see stuff. There are times when I actually smell something. And so utilize your 5 senses. The third time I read it for you, ask God, why did this stand out to me? You know, this image or this word or like this thing that I sense with my spiritual senses, why? What's the meaning of it? And then the 4th time I read it for you, you just rest in God's presence. Just lift up your being, what you experience, to God. Let Him just feel you. So we're going to do this. It's okay if it doesn't work out, right? So inhale, close your eyes, inhale. So the 3rd time, I'm going to probably read it in a different version for you. All right, perhaps from different version, right? So here we go. Close your eyes and inhale. The Lord. So the first time I read, once again, it's just listen, be washed over by the word. Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The second time I read, we're going to utilize our five senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and texture. Could be a printed word or a phrase. And try to spot what stands out to us. Keep inhaling and exhaling as you hear this word the second time. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The third time I read, you're going to ask God, this thing that stood out to me, what do you mean by that? Why did you give me that image, that word, that smell, that touch? What's the meaning of that? The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The fourth time I read, we're gonna just sit and relax, lift up the experiences that we had through this or that we did not have. And we're gonna just lift it up to God. God is not time bound, He's not bound by anything. So He may speak to us a few days later instead of just right at this moment. So we can just relax and be at peace about what we experienced or what we did not experience. God, my shepherd, I don't need a thing. You have bedded me down in lush meadows. You find me quiet pools to drink from. True to your word, you let me catch my breath and send me in the right direction. Even when the way goes through Death Valley, I'm not afraid when you walk at my side. Your trusty shepherd's crook makes me feel secure. You serve me a 6-course dinner right in front of my enemies. You revive my drooping head. My cup brims with blessing. Your beauty and love chase after me every day of my life. I'm back home in the house of God for the rest of my life. So, wonder how this experience was for you. For me, you anoint my head with oil. That stood out to me, and actually I felt that He was pouring His oil over me. And for those of you who don't have a biblical background, the oil was used to anoint a king or prophet or those people who are very important, right? Those people who, well, I mean, everyone is important to God's side, but those people who are chosen to carry out certain roles, they were anointed with oil. So like another prophet will come, well, oftentimes like a horn, like an animal's horn, they will fill the horn with oil, and they will pour that oil over that person who God has chosen. And at that moment when the oil is being poured out over that person, this person is filled by the Holy Spirit. And this person is empowered, basically, empowered by God's power to be able to do the things that God is commanding this person to do. And when God's presence comes, you can feel it, and there's oftentimes joy, inexplainable joy. Like even if you're going through the darkest valley, for some reason you feel the joy. And so that kind of stood out to me. As I was doing this for you, I didn't have a chance to ask God what it means to me, what He means by that to me. For now, so I'm going to just hold it off, but then, just briefly, I just quickly sense that God is giving me joy, that He is, His presence is with me, and He wants me to understand that. He wants me to remember and understand, even if I don't feel it, that He is with me, that that His calling is with me, has not changed, that He's doing something good, something new. This is a new season for me. But so much for that. So this is one of the many ways, once again, to meditate on the Word of God. And you're going to actually see it, experience it a little bit more in depth, like as you practice this more. So we're going to come back to this another session, okay, with a different passage. So let's take a look at what we're gonna do for this course. You probably have the booklet already, right? With the expanded course description. So once again, this course is a required course for Bachelor of Religious Education and Bachelor of Theology, right? Yeah, I usually teach the master's level course, but I can teach the undergraduate as well. So you know our mission statement by now, right? So I don't have to read it for you. Program objective, right? Laying foundation for the study of religious education and theology. Yeah, by incorporating both basic courses in education and theological disciplines, right? So it's like a mixture of both, trying to equip you to be a better educator in the end, but with theological understanding. This course will provide a basic foundation for written and spoken English by presenting the building blocks of complete and complex sentences and grammar and structure, as well as examples. This course is designed to offer opportunities for learning and practicing conversational and formal language. So although it's English composition, we're going to actually focus more on the conversational language because there's a need. I know that from, having taught like for 4 years at this institution, I know that many of you come with the need to be able to talk with other people, as much as, I think many of you are better at writing compared to speaking and presenting. So because of that need, I'm gonna try to gear toward more for being able to present. So one of the books that you might want to read is really helpful. Renee Shay's The Language of Composition, Reading, Writing, Rhetoric. Yeah, this is a helpful book. One of the books. There are many good books out there, and depending on where you want to, which area you want to improve, you can pick out your own book too. And of course, the Bible. I usually utilize NIV Bible, but the printed Bible at this in this classroom is NASB. So I recommend that you bring your Bible with you when you study. And so if you look at the table of contents, you can see that we're going to go chapter by chapter, but we don't have to finish each chapter each week because it's quite a bit, and I don't want to overwhelm you. And so we're going to do as much as we can, and then the rest of them you can actually read for yourself at home in your leisure time. So first we're going to talk about the elements of a sentence, and present tense, like present tense and present continuing, continuous tenses. And to take a look at chapter 1, so what does a sentence, what is it made up of, right? What is it made up of? So there's a phrase and clause. What's the difference? Phrase is a small group of words that communicate a concept that is not a full sentence. And what's a clause? A clause, it contains a subject and a predicate. And in many cases can be a sentence on its own. So it's a short sentence, right? Subject and a predicate. And a sentence can be a combination of clauses. It can be a complex sentence, right? And because you guys are interested in speaking and writing, what are some of the good elements? Elements of good speech and writing. It's clarity. You need to when you say something or when you write something, the message should be clear to the audience, the reader. Right? The context. Depending on the context, you can make completely the same sentence might mean completely different, right? And detail, it's not as much as like writing out like every single detail, but rather detail enough to be able to communicate your intention. So these are all connected to each other, they're related to each other: clarity, context, and detail. And we're gonna learn like some grammatical aspects, at least one grammatical element each week. And today we're gonna learn about adjective. Adjective, what is an adjective? And you, because many of you come from a different country, right? You might have learned it in a different term. You might have called it differently. But we call it adjective. What's an adjective? An adjective describes or provides additional meaning. Specify it, make it more clear, right? Example, that song choice was way too bold. Like, the song choice actually did not really match the situation or match the occasion, right? It was way too bold. She was taller than all of her classmates. She was taller. Yeah, so it's an adjective. What are some other examples of an adjective? It could be anything, right? It could be anything that adds to the meaning, right? So it could be many. It could be, so let me give you like sentences, because like the words themselves don't convey meaning very well. So there were people. There were people in the room. There were students in the room. In the room, how about the room, right? There were students in the room. That's a complete sentence, right? But then you can say there were many students in the room. Or maybe you can say there were young students in the room. What other adjectives can you use? There were mature students in the room. There were female students in the room. There were smart students in the room. There were athletic students in the room. Like all these words are adjectives, like it is clarified, it specifies what kind of students, right? And it gives additional meaning. So these are adjectives. And as we go over this, like you don't have to memorize all of them, but if you can, yes, of course. But then if you forget, you can always come back and review. Don't worry about it. All right, and we can talk about euphemisms and adages and figures of speech. These are good, but I don't want to confuse you, so we're going to come back to this a little bit later. Let's skip over to basic phrases. Okay, I'm going to be a little easy on on this today. I don't want to overwhelm you. Basic phrases. How do you introduce yourself? There are many different ways, starting from how do you do to, hey, what's your name? You can be formal, you can be informal, depending on the situation and depending on who the other person is, or the occasion, right? But introducing yourself, okay? Hi, I'm Joanne. And your name? This is pretty casual, right? And your name? Nice to meet you. Where are you from? Like this sentence can have connotations like, yeah. But anyway, you can ask this question: where are you from? Right? What do you do? What do you do? These are pretty interesting questions, right? What do you do? What do you like to do in your free time? What do you like to do in your free time? So, for those of you who really need to practice like speaking English, spoken English, I want to let you practice. So like repetition, repetition is the best when you practice, right? Repetition helps you memorize. Repetition helps you improve, your pronunciation, or whenever you encounter a person, you want to talk to them, and it's just pops up in your head. So I'm going to repeat that. So what do you do? What do you like in your to do in your free time? What's your phone number? So like, be careful when you don't go around, right? You won't. Use your common sense. You won't go around like asking people like, what is your phone number? What's your email address, right? But just talk to a person, and then when you have sense that this person is kind of open to conversations and perhaps open to future communication, then hey, what's your phone number? Do you have Instagram? Like what are WeChat? What are some other things? There are many, right? WeChat, Instagram, or what else? There's do you have a messenger? Do you have there are some apps that I had to delete, but you can actually ask those questions, right? You use some people use like Google Hangout, so you can just ask those questions. Your intention is to communicate with them like outside that occasion, right, in the future. So, hi, I am Tom. And your name? Nice to meet you. Where are you from? What do you do? What do you like to do in your free time? What's your phone number? Do you have Instagram? Oh, it says Facebook. I don't know how many people use Facebook anymore. Right. Yeah. And then best ways to learn English. So many people have asked me this question. So there are many different sources of learning, right? You can watch TV shows instead of K-drama. Try to watch some other things. What could be there? It could be animation. Children's program. It could be news, right? NBC News, like BBC News. It could be like Friends, CSI. You can watch a movie, right? So it's to connect with the media. These days, things are so accessible because of the internet. Because of the internet, you can basically connect to any of the network, and you can actually watch YouTube course, podcasts, and of course, books. These days, not many people, well, I shouldn't generalize too much, like at least in the United States and parts of the world, we're not reading books anymore, right? And depending on what kind of background you came from, like you may be reading books or not reading books, but turning to books, always good. Websites, blogs, like old style, classical radio, and then just listening, just flood yourself with the English channels. Find a conversational partner afterwards. Like, so if you just sit there and listen, that's not going to help you learn better, right? So find a conversational partner, chat regularly, and you can imagine a situation. Imagine a situation where you could use the phrase you just studied. Okay, so, hi, my name is Joanne. And your name? Oh, nice to meet you. Where are you from? What do you do? So, maybe you went to a coffee shop, you happen to just chat, or maybe you bump into someone, well, wherever there's a long line of waiting, I think you can just utilize this, right? And then actually utilize these sentences that you have learned, right? And listen and look for the phrase. So you just learned it. So as you watch TV or as you listen to a radio, try to spot these phrases. Listen to the radio, read blogs. Okay. Use the phrases, sentences in casual writing. So these days, anyone and everyone texts, right? Twitter, email to a friend. And finally, use the phrase in 2 to 5 real conversations. Yeah. So actually listening, and then trying to recognize and also using it yourself. That's going to help. All right, so here are some more sentences. Be careful. Be careful driving. Can you translate this for me? But actually, these days you have like Google Translate and translation apps too, right? So you won't be using this too often, but don't worry. Chicago is very different from Boston. You can switch the location, right? LA is very different from Austin. San Francisco is very different from Colorado Springs, things like that. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. Everything is ready. Everything is ready. Excellent. Excellent. From time to time. How often do you do this? From time to time. Well, does he do that all the time? Well, from time to time. Good idea. Good idea. He likes it very much. She likes it very much. Help. You wouldn't be saying this very often, right? Help. Some people actually make a joke out of this. He's coming soon. Jesus is coming soon. Coming back soon. It's right. She's very annoying. He's very famous. How are you? How's work? How's work going? Hurry! Oh, thank you, but no thank you. I ate already. I can't hear you. I'd like to go for a walk. Well, you can use other verbs, right? I'd like to go for swimming. I'd like to go for painting or hiking. I don't know how to use it. I don't like him. I don't like it. I don't understand. I don't want it. I don't want that. I don't want to bother you. I feel good. If you need my help, please let me know. I get off of work at 6. I have a headache. I hope you and your wife have a nice trip. I know. I like her. So use your common sense. Like, you don't just blurt this out before it. You need to use your common sense, like if it's appropriate for you to say that. I'll come back later. I'll call you when I leave. I'll pay. I'll pay for it. I'll take it. I'll take you to the bus stop. I lost my watch. I love you. Once again, use your common sense when you say this. I'm cleaning my room. I'm cold. Hey, I'm coming to pick you up. I'm going to leave. I'm good. And you? I'm happy. I'm hungry. I'm married. Yeah. Utilize your common sense again. I'm married. I'm not busy. I'm not married. I'm not ready yet. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, we're sold out. Yeah. If you're running a shop, you'll say this. I'm thirsty. I'm very busy. I don't have time now. I need to change clothes. I need to go home. I only want a snack. Is Mr. Smith an American? Is Mr. Smith is Mr. Serrano de Bergerac French? Things like that. Is that enough? I think it's very good. I think it tastes good. I thought the clothes were cheaper. I've been here for 2 days. I thought it's longer than 2 miles. I've been here. I've heard Texas is a beautiful place. Texas must have written this, right? I was about to leave the restaurant when my friends arrived. I've never seen that before. Just a little. Just a moment. Let me check. Let me think about it. Let's go have a look. So the list goes on, and these are short phrases, basic phrases that you can actually utilize in your daily life. We're going to come back to that. So let's take a look at the simple present tense. Simple present tense. So if you actually take a look at page 15 or 20, I don't know how that happened. Page 20, then simple present tense. So since you learned what an adjective is, right? Try that today. Oh, well, here's a pretty hat. Well, that room is cold. I'm good. Or, yeah, she's diligent. Things like that. Try utilizing in your sentences so that you can use it when the chance comes. Simple present tense. So it's a simple present tense. An example might be, I prefer my coffee black, right? Or the baby cry so much, or like that. So what's a simple present tense? It's like I prefer a baby cries, right? He works out daily, regularly. Okay, what's a simple present tense? It's this. I prefer the baby cries, he works out. So oftentimes it, most often it's subject and verb, right? And the verb is in the present simple present tense. So as you can see from the diagram, it refers to a fact or habitual action. So either a fact or a habitual action. So it works out. It works out. Even without the word regularly. I mean, that's a cue, right? That's a cue that this is a habit. But even without that, he works out. He gets sick very often. Well, does he work out? He does. It means it's not that he's working out like at this moment, but rather it's a habit. Like he does work out regularly, or even irregularly. He does work out. It's a habitual action. And then I prefer my coffee black. That's also habitual. Like a person who you might say, well, I usually take it with like sugar and cream, but today I just want it black. They might say that. Then that's just right now. That's what I want. But I prefer my coffee black. That's like you prefer that right now, but in the future, repeatedly, probably you're gonna choose black coffee, right? How about a fact compared to that? Maybe we can say, the coffee is cold. How about cold coffee? Okay, the cold coffee is cold. It's a fact. It's not a habit, but right now that's a fact. Like that cup of coffee, it's cold. So this would be a fact. Versus, I prefer my coffee black. This is habitual. The baby cries so much. This could be a habitual. This could be a fact. But if it's your neighbor, maybe perhaps it's habitual, right? Yeah. So simple present tense is usually subject and verb, be verb, that is in present tense, and it refers to habit or fact. So the tenses then, there's if we actually draw a chart, say this is present, that's future, and this is the past. Simple present, it refers the timing wise, it's right now, right? It's right now. And then probably it's going to be repeated in the future. It is likely to be the same way in the future as well. So that's simple present. So what are some other examples? Okay, my mother lets me go out with my friends. You know, like some of the high schoolers, right? Junior hires. My mom lets me go out with my friends. I prefer my coffee black. We talked about this. She puts the keys on the table. So like, she's looking for the keys. Like, can you help? Like, yeah. She puts the keys on the table, and it's like her habit, right? The teacher shouts at us all the time. And here's a cue, like all the time, like it's a habit, right? The teacher shouts at us, you know, even without that, you know, with the clause, we can actually know that it's a habit. She shouts at us. I have two brothers. It's a fact, right? And coffee grows in Brazil. This could be habitual, right? It's a fact. Yes, it grows in Brazil. However, probably in the future, it's going to continue to grow, right? So it's going to be true in the future as well. So that's simple present. So how about negative forms? How do you make it negative form? So subject plus, so subject is what? I, you, we, they, y'all, right? And plus first form of verb. And before that, do not or don't, does not or doesn't, right? So put not in the middle somewhere, right? My mother does not. My mother doesn't let me go out with my friends. I do not prefer my coffee black. I don't prefer my coffee black. She does not put the keys on the table. She doesn't put the keys on the table. The teacher does not shout at us all the time. In this case, what? This was only a special occasion, like it was a surprise that she shouted at us, because she doesn't shout at us. I do not have two brothers. I don't have two brothers. I only have a sister. Coffee does not grow in Brazil. Coffee doesn't grow in Brazil. And then, how about questions, right? Questions. So it would be do plus subject plus first form of verb. So, does your mother let you go out with your friends? Doesn't your mother let you go out with your friends? Do you prefer your coffee black? So this would be like, you know, if you're not asking another person, but rather you're taking order from other people, right? You're doing favor. Do you prefer your coffee black? Does she put the keys on the table? Doesn't she put the keys on the table? Does the teacher shout at us all the time? Doesn't the teacher shout at us all the time? Do I have two brothers? Well, I have two brothers. Why are they telling me to do this all by myself, right? Are you a teacher? Aren't you a teacher? Is your father tired? Isn't your father tired? So, short answer forms, like for the present forms, how do you answer? Hey, does your mother let you go out with your friends? Yes. No, you can say that, but yes, she does. No, she doesn't. Do you prefer your coffee black? Yes, I do, thank you. No, I don't. I prefer some sugar. I prefer some milk in it. Yeah, I want a latte or something like that. Do you go to school? No, I don't. No, I don't, ma'am. I work. Does she clean her room? Yes, she does. Yes, she does. Or no, she doesn't. Yeah. So once again, we use the present simple when something is generally or always true, right? Similarly, we need to use this tense for a situation that we think is more or less permanent, right? The next use is for habits or things that we do regularly. We often use adverbs of frequency, like all the time, sometimes, from time to time, every so often, or rarely. Still, it's a habit, right? Rarely, not often, but rarely, but still, it's a habit. It's a permanent condition, right? We can also use the present simple for short actions that are happening now. The actions are so short that they're finished almost as soon as you've said the sentence. It's jumping. He jumps. Okay, so present progressive. So he jumps. Oh, she studies. Okay, now there's present progressive tense. Present progressive or present continuous expresses actions that are happening now or that are in progress. It's jumping, right? It's jumping. So present let me draw the diagram for you. So here's present, future, past, so present continuous, present progressive. So it's happening at this moment, right? It's happening at this moment, and it's an ongoing activity. And then it's a future planned activity. Future planned activity. I'm gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna visit my friend this afternoon. A couple of days later, I'm gonna visit the library, things like that. So it's either a future planned activity or it's going on right now. He's jumping, I'm studying, I'm teaching, right? So then what is the structure? It's basically subject plus be plus ing, right? So what would be some of the examples? We have examples right here. She's watching TV right now. She's watching TV right now. She's not doing her homework. Well, she's not doing his homework. Somebody's doing homework for her. for him. She's not doing his homework. Is she studying English? So I'm gonna just try to give you, positive, negative, question and answer, right? So, is she studying English? No, she isn't. No, she isn't studying English. She is actually studying math. So these are some of the examples. Now, present continuous tense uses, like when is it used, right? Present continuous or present progressive expresses the idea that something is happening now, at this moment, So it's narrower in that sense, in this aspect, narrower than present, simple present, right? She's listening to the music now. She's listening to the music now. We're learning English at this moment. Yeah, so now and at this moment, like it gives you an idea that it's present progressive. But even without those words, those adverbs, you will know. Okay, just listen to music. Even without the word now, you will know that it's present progressive. My mother is cooking dinner in the kitchen now. The gardener is working in the garden at this time. Yeah, the gardener is not done with his work. He's still working, right? At present, children are doing a lot of things that cannot be done before. She's making a lot of progress, like things like that. She's having breakfast at this moment. Oh, my boss is on the phone right now. She's talking with another person at this moment. Things like that. Look, a car is coming. While you're studying, I'll make a cake. Sounds like a good idea for the other person. We're currently looking for individuals who have experience in customer service. Yeah. We'll rent a flat. Well, sounds like British, right? For the time being, we're staying at our friend's house. The children are playing football now. And sometimes present continuous tense expresses longer actions, not at the moment, but in progress. Now, as a time marker in the situation, means this second, today, this month, this year, this century, and so on. So she's studying to become a science teacher. So it's an ongoing activity, right? She's studying to become a science teacher. It's not like right now at this moment she's studying, but if you just look at her life, like for this season, she is studying to become a science teacher, right? It's an ongoing activity. We're working on a new project. So right now I might be having lunch, or I might be looking at a different book, I might be watching TV, but I and my team members are working on a new project, meaning for this season, for however long the period is going to be, you are doing that. So that's continuous, right? I'm learning to play guitar. I'm learning to play the guitar. Present continuous tense is used to indicate that something will or will not happen in the near future. So examples would be, you're starting work tomorrow. Congratulations, you got a job. You're starting to work tomorrow. Okay. My sister's coming with us to the party tonight. So it's like, it's going to happen. it's going to happen. It has not happened. It's not an ongoing activity. It's not happening at this moment, but rather in the future. But you can still use the present tense, right? You're starting work tomorrow. My sister's coming with us to the party tonight. I'm talking to the teacher after this lesson. And present continuous tense used with always, constantly, forever expresses the idea that something often happens in a negative sense. In other words, we use to complain. So she's always talking. These students are constantly complaining about everything. You're always coming to work late. He's forever speaking. Someone should silence him. Okay? So present continuous tense shows that an action is done physically and visually. Therefore, abstract, meaningful expressions such as abstract thinking, like love, understanding, possessing cannot be used in continuous action. Yeah. So in those cases, you will be using simple present tense, right? So example might be, I'm understanding you. I understand something is true, right? So I'm understanding you is wrong, right? You don't say that, it's kind of awkward. I understand. Okay, that's right. His hating math is wrong. I mean, it's not always wrong. He loves math, but right now he's hating math because that question is just, is unclear to him or whatever. So he's hating math. You could say that, but most often you would say he hates math or he likes math. And so how do you recognize the present continuous tense? You'll see these words like the adverbs, frequently alongside that. Like if the sentence is in that present continuous, present progressive tense, then you would often see these as adverbs, right? Now, right now, listen, at the moment, at present, look, watch out, be quiet, currently, for the time being, right now, for the time being, while, or when. So you can utilize these, you can actually see these words and assume that this is present continuous tense. Okay, so there's a present perfect that we're going to learn next session, but let's briefly take a look at what it looks like. So present perfect tense. So present perfect. Present perfect tense. Oftentimes, I mean, it utilizes has or have, okay, and then past participle. So how does it look? Some kind of activity started in the past. So it may be going on right now, but it started in the past. So here is present, here's past, here's future. And so somewhere in the past, we don't know when, but somewhere in the past, the activity started. And still it's going on at this moment. So right now it's present, and tomorrow maybe it's gonna stop. We don't know. Maybe this afternoon it's gonna stop. But it has been going on so far. That started before. So yeah, we're gonna talk about this next session. I don't want to overwhelm you, so let's go back to some of the sentences, right? On page 16, okay. Page 16. Let's practice English. This is what I'm doing, right? So say it out loud. That's helpful. Let's practice English. May I speak to Mrs. Smith, please? Smith is one of the favorite terms used by English practice books, right? May I speak with Mrs. Smith, please? More than that. More than that. Next time. Next time. Nonsense. Nonsense. No, thank you. No, thank you. Nothing else. But these are really short, like really basic sentences, right? So next time on, we're gonna learn a little longer sentences. But when you say in a short sentence, like I think we need to be careful. Otherwise, like it can sound sometimes a little impolite or like abrasive, or it could sound a little bit cold, or so be careful when you say these things. Nonsense, no thank you, nothing else, not recently, not yet, of course. Please fill out this form. Please fill out this form. Please take me to this address. If you're taking a cab, I guess you would say this, right? Please take me to this address. Please write it down. Can you please write it down? Right here, right there. See you later, alligator, right? See you later. See you tomorrow. See you tonight. Sorry to bother you. Sorry to bother you. Take a chance. Take a stab at it. Take it outside. Take it outside. Tell me. Tell me. Thanks for your help. Thanks for your help. Thank you, miss. Thank you, sir. It's like you wouldn't say this to your friends, right? But you would say this to like a relative stranger or someone who is an acquaintance, like you don't know them too well yet. That looks great. That looks great. That's all right. That's all right. That's enough. Oh, 2 scoops of ice cream. Okay, that's enough. Come on, let's go. That's fine. That's fine. That's it. You got it. That's it. Or that's it. That smells bad. That smells bad. That's not fair. That's not fair. That's not right. That's not right. That's too bad. That's too bad. That's too many. That's too many. That's too much. That's too much. The book is under the table. The book is under the table. They'll be right back. Yeah, so there's something that I want to teach you. If you talk with teenagers or hipsters, they'll say this often, right? BRB. Be right back. I'll be right back. They're the same. Don't matter. They're the same. They're very busy. They're very busy. This is very difficult. This is very difficult. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. This is out of ink. Like, it doesn't work. This is very important. This is very important that you practice English every day. Try it. Try it. Very good, thanks. Very good, thanks. We like it very much. We like it very much. Would you take a message, please? Oh, he's not in the office. He didn't show up today. Oh, could you please take a message for me? Yes. Really. You're very nice. You're very nice. You're very smart. You're very smart. Yeah, and then there are ways to greet, and you want to choose the appropriate occasion. I have some really funny stories, but maybe I'll share with you later some of the mistakes. But 10 ways to greet, depending on like what kind of person you meet, and what the occasion is, and your own style as well, right? Hello, hi, hey, hi there, howdy, bye, 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 see you later, take care, have a good one. And you can ask how the other person is doing, right? How are you? How's it going? How are things? How's life? How's life? This is like a very broad question, right? How's the world treating you? How have you been? How's your family? What's up? You might want to say this to your friend instead of like another person who, yeah. If you're like, buddy, then you can say this. What's new? What have you been up to lately? What have you been up to? Like, it's using have verb, right? How have you been? What have you been up to lately? What have you been up to lately? I'm fine, thanks. How about you? So like someone else came and asked you this question. How are you? How's it going? How have you been? What have you been up to lately? So I'm fine, thanks. How about you? So you might want to return the question, right? Pretty good, not bad, great, could be better, can't complain, I've been busy, same as always, same old, not so great, could be better. Right. Okay, and there are some phrases that you might be able to utilize very well in the future. I don't want to overwhelm you, like you don't have to memorize all these, but let's just breeze through, okay? Last but not least, when you call someone, like if there are people who you want to introduce or present, and there's like a row of people, and you would say last but not least for the last person. Little by little, I'm catching up. Okay, let me go. Okay, let me be. Long time no see. Make yourself at home. This is your home. Make yourself comfortable. Just choose any of the of seats. My pleasure. More recently, this is what happened. Okay, I want to make the best use of it. Nothing at all. No hard feeling. Not a chance. Now or never. No way out. There's no way out. No more. Never say never. Yeah, you don't want to say never. Okay, so there was one moment when I was living in Korea. I told everyone I will never go to the United States ever again, because I think my college years were kind of tough. Partially because my dad had put my brother in a school where it's just surrounded by cows and fields, and there's nothing else to do than study, and that was his intention. And just because my brother was there, my dad said, I wouldn't send you anywhere else, but if you want to go outside our home, you have to be with your brother. So better than nothing, right? So I ended up in that countryside. Anyway, long story short, I suffered enough. I studied. Yeah, that's practically the only thing that I could. Oh, aside from that church life, that was a wonderful, wonderful experience. But upon coming back, because of the circumstances, I resolved never to go back to the United States. Like I've had it. Like I'm not going back to the United States. Never. And never it becomes surely, right? And so never say never. Yeah, none of your business. Oh, be careful. So use your common sense. Like none of your business. Like this is pretty blunt. So you might want to be careful with this. No way, no problem. Not long ago, out of order, out of luck. One way or another, one thing leads to another. Piece of cake. Oh, you poor thing. You don't say this to older people. You don't say this to your boss. Be careful. You poor thing. You probably would say that to a little child or your friend, someone you know very well. Out of the blue, out of touch. So. Stay in touch. So what? Okay, step by step. See? Sooner or later. Shut up. Oh, you might want to be careful with this too. If you're a teenager and if you're saying this to your friend, it's completely appropriate. But other than that, I don't recommend that you say this. That's all. Too good to be true. My dream came true. Too bad. The sooner the better. Take it or leave it. There's no denial that can be viewed from different angles. What it's mentioning is that what's more dangerous. Well then, who knows? Way to go. Why not? You see? No more, no less. No kidding. Right? So try utilizing, and I give you plenty of examples, and you can actually, while you're listening to the radio or watch TV or YouTube video, try to kind of spot what you've learned and actually say it aloud to your friends, English-speaking friends, and even among yourselves. I know it can be awkward because you speak a different language. With my family, I usually speak in Korean, right? So try to find your neighbors or your friends, your chat buddy, call them, and then try to utilize your sentences. And next time we come back, we're gonna resume talking about the present perfect. Yeah, and this is a perfect timing for us to wrap up. So I hope you stay well. And next time, I want you to still stay awake and have it memorized. If you like, I want to see your makeup progress. I can't follow up with you right now, but I hope you are making a progress. And at least you stepped out to speak to someone, or you spotted something in the news or the drama, or like the soap opera. Or you spotted something from a magazine or your newspaper, blog, could be anything, right? So let's close in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for your grace and mercy. Thank you for creating languages. Thank you for giving us universal language and giving us the ability to acquire more than one language. Lord God, you have given us the intellect to be able to recognize and learn and utilize another language so that we can communicate with people of another culture and language. We thank you for giving us the motivation, Lord God, to get out, to come to work or come to class with the heart, the open heart attitude, Lord God, of learning. Father God, we ask you that you'll continue to teach us and inspire us and keep us and bless us. May you guide us in this season. May you bless each student in this class with health and sound mind and good relationships and opportunities to speak English and practice, to bless each other, Lord God. We thank you in Christ's name we pray. Amen. See you next time.
Wala siya sa dami. Yung moments mo,